Take me back in history.
Take you back in history. So it was so interesting to me that Donald Trump's first net approval rating of his second term is higher than his entire first term. And I was interested, has that ever happened? Has the second term net approval rating in the first month, have you ever had a higher rating than any net approval rating during the entire first term? Donald Trump is the only...
I have a really hard time believing this.
This is 100% true. I went back. I love spreadsheets. Donald Trump's is the first guy ever whose net approval rating in the first month of his second term is higher than any rating that he had as an entire first term, Kate Baldwin. This is true. I don't make stuff up. The numbers are the numbers.
I believe you in nothing.
So Donald Trump has apparently, as of now, hit his highest ever approval rating as president. That is right. As of January 2025, way more Americans approve of Donald Trump than they ever did back during his first term. And if you ever wanted proof that things have really changed in this country, you know, there has been a paradigm shift. Arguably, everything that happened back in 2020 maybe worked out for the best for us in the end. This is it right here. Trump now has apparently a +6 approval rating, according to CNN, as of January 2025, and the highest it ever hit back during his first presidency was only +3 approval. So, like, we're doing better than we ever did before. And in a recent segment, Harry Enten, who is the CNN polling analyst guy, you've probably seen him quite around a bit from the 2024 election, tries to explain this to the CNN audience. And you'll see here, this anchor slash co-host is really not happy. And throughout this segment, she's basically melting down and seething, right? She's trying to make all the excuses in the world for why this is not true, or I don't really believe that. There's absolutely no way, because, nobody in the mainstream media bubble still can seem to understand or comprehend why Trump actually won the 2024 election. But we'll show you it here today because it's entertaining and frankly pretty hilarious, and also break down some of those numbers. But first, folks, do us a big favor. If you enjoyed the content, make sure you hit that like button down below and subscribe if you are new. You subscribing is the #1 way to ensure we can keep bringing you these videos. It's completely free. It goes a long way in ensuring we can fight back against the legacy media like CNN. And with that said, all right, let's get into this. Here's CNN having to admit that Trump's approval rating is at a historic high.
Look, the American people really like what they're seeing, at least compared to where Donald Trump started 8 years ago, right? All right, this is Donald Trump's net approval rating. This is Reuters Ipsos. It's among adults. It was taken the first few days of this administration. Look here. Back in January 2017, Donald Trump became the first president in history to start his presidency with a net negative approval rating. Look at where we are now in January 2025. Considerably better at +6 points. That's up 9 points. To borrow a Donald Trump phrase, this is big league. This is a sign that the American people, at least initially, like what they're seeing. And so you see right here, more Americans approve of Donald Trump's job than disapprove. And that is very much unlike what we saw 8 years ago.
So compare the rating now to the entire first term.
Yeah. So it's not just that he's doing better than where he was doing 8 years ago. It's that he's doing better than he ever did during his entire first administration. So I again look. He
never was over +3.
He was never over +3. The highest rating his highest ever net approval rating was +3 in March of.
Your choice of photo is quite.
He likes
amazing.
What he's seeing. He's smirking at the American media.
He just doesn't like you.
Maybe not. Although he should like these numbers and the way I'm presenting them. You look at January 2025. Look at that again. You get +6. So Donald Trump isn't just in a better position than he was 8 years ago at this point. He's in a better position than he was at any point during his entire first term. Things have very much turned around. This is a very different Donald Trump. He's leading a very different administration, the way he's attacking things. And the American public is very much more in line with him than they were at any point during his entire first term.
I would say, correction, this is not a very different Donald Trump. This is a very different Donald Trump as being viewed by voters in this.
In the way he's going about things with Susan Wiles leading things, I think he is, going at things in a much less disorganized fashion, much more organized.
Take me back in history.
You can see the whole time, like, look at her face. I mean, first of all, she's not happy. She's just sitting here like, Seriously. As our government currently talks about banning apps like TikTok and fears constantly circulate around the security of your data on the internet in this modern world, the conclusion is obvious. We're living in times where internet privacy is not just a luxury, it's a necessity, and that's why I want to talk about our sponsors today at Aura. In today's world, every click, every search, it can be tracked. Hackers, identity thieves, and big tech companies are all out there looking for a piece of your personal pie. And on top of that, governments across the world, as we all well know, are seeking to increasingly monitor and censor your usage of the internet. And that's where Aura comes in. It's not just another VPN. It's your digital security fortress. And I'll tell you why right here. Aura offers dark web monitoring to keep an eye out for your info, credit protection to guard your financial identity, and guys, they even back it up with up to $5 million in identity theft insurance. Imagine having that kind of security blanket around your digital life. Again, not just another VPN. So here's what I want you to do. Right now, you can try Aura for free for 14 days. Free, no strings attached. Just click on the link in the description down below at aura.com/Vince. Again, aura.com/Vince. Give it a shot. See how it feels to have your online activities shielded from those prying eyes. And remember, this is not just about protecting your data. It's about taking back control of your privacy. Whether you're a conservative like me or just someone who values their digital rights or their privacy, Aura is for you. So don't wait for the next data breach or mass censorship event to hit the headlines. Be proactive. Click that link, start your free trial, and secure your digital life today. And hey, if you decide to stick with Aura, they'll keep protecting you month after month. But let's start with those free 14 days. Check it out. Let me know in the comments how it feels to finally have some real privacy online. And of course, constantly trying to make the excuses. I mean, I think both are true, to tell you the honest truth. I think that on one hand, yes, the American people really have changed their minds about a lot of things. And that's why I said, like I did in the beginning, that maybe everything that happened in 2020, as brutal and as much suffering as there was, really did kind of in the end work out for the best, right? It was a net positive because for some reason, I don't know what it is, but we had to show the people, right? Everything we were saying. We had to show everyone how bad the Biden presidency was in order to finally vindicate the argument and essentially say, like we did in the 2024 election, yeah, in the end, Trump was right. And that's big. And, you know, I actually ran a poll on this a couple of weeks ago with you guys with the community tab, basically saying, like, what would have been the best timeline? Trump gets a second term and Biden never becomes president, or everything that happened in the real world? And an overwhelming majority of you guys said no, like this in the end was the best outcome because we got that mass paradigm shift, right? We kind of got the mandate, which probably would not have happened if, you know, certain things didn't go the way they did in 2020. But yeah, again, so that's on one hand, but on the other hand, it is also true. I do think so far you have seen a lot of things are different this time about the second Trump administration. You could argue to a significant degree, they kind of know what they're doing a lot better, you know, and so. But anyways, with that said, all right, here is the final explanation as the CNN co-host continues to bitterly seethe about it.
Get back in history. So it was so interesting to me that Donald Trump's first net approval rating of his second term is higher than his entire first term. And I was interested, has that ever happened? Has the second term net approval rating in the first month, have you ever had a higher rating than any net approval rating during the entire first term? Donald Trump is the only...
I have a hard time believing this.
This is 100% true. I went back. I love spreadsheets. Donald Trump is the first guy ever whose net approval rating in the first month of his second term is higher than any rating that he had as an entire first term, Kate Baldwin. This is true. I don't make stuff up. The numbers are the numbers.
I believe you in nothing except when you have it in the wall, and then I believe everything you say.
That's exactly right.
I just love the total disbelief. You know, she just doesn't understand why. But, you know, if you live outside of the mainstream media bubble, you 100% have seen for the past 4 years. And this was sort of in the election. One thing I would always tell myself, like, how could we possibly lose? Because you have observed how the average Americans, and again, you guys can observe this personally, I'm sure, opinions on politics, almost their political ideology has shifted significantly to the right over the past 4 years, okay? And when going into the 2024 election, I think what was much different as compared to back in 2016, which was that, you know, 2016 was an upset. 2016 was something not a lot of people, some yes, but not a lot of people were expecting that to happen. Liberals were just kind of shocked by it. And, you could almost say back then it was like conservatives temporarily got a win in the politics, but liberals still have the culture. And, judging by the popular vote, for instance, liberals still technically had the majority in this country, even though it was fading. 2024, totally different story. That's why we call it a mandate, right? That's why we call it something significantly different, is because not only did we win the popular vote, but I would argue at this point, it's almost like conservatives have the culture. We have almost become the mainstream cultural group in America. And you see that even from something like the approval rating from the first moment that Trump was taking office. Things really have fundamentally shifted. That's why I almost say it was good that everything happened the way it did, because now look, like Americans really think differently and feel differently now. And I don't know if you guys feel the same way, but every time a new president is elected, it's almost like, okay, people say things are going to change, but things don't actually change a lot. Now, I don't want to sort of downplay that, because at the same time, elections do have consequences. Hence, look at what happened under the Biden presidency. But something really does feel different about this second Trump term. Like, wow, maybe we can actually get fundamental structural change in this country for the positive. You just look at how aggressive they were, for instance, in the first week in office. And, for the whole time, the whole election season, a lot of people were like, oh, he's not actually going to do that. He's not actually going to do this that we want. No, like things are happening for real. Okay, so it's just optimistic to see on so many fronts. And as for the mainstream media, I don't know what they're going to do. I really don't. You already heard the news of the mass layoffs happening at CNN. Congratulations to these CNN personalities. They survived the wave of the cuts. So, good for you guys. But I don't know. As you can see, they're going to really struggle to process what's about to happen for the next 4 years, and maybe longer than 4 years. Let's hope, if we continue to keep up the momentum, continue to, deliver for the American people. But anyways, guys, there you have it. Again, Trump, record high approval rating, highest ever. And that is something historic, because it never happens in a president's second term. And CNN, again, struggling to process it. With that said, let me know your thoughts on all of this in the comment section down below. Be sure to leave a like on this video, subscribe if you are new, and until next time, God bless and peace.